Hello, Meoni here and welcome back to another news video, this time looking at a Korean interview with Naoki Yoshida. He's been doing the rounds recently in Korean press, so it's no surprise there's some more interviews. The original interview is off an InVen website I'll link in the description, as well as this helpful translation put together for us on a Reddit post by Tsunari96. Thank you very much to you for posting this. A link will be in the description to that as well. Go and give them a thumbs up. Essentially, this interview is regarding free-to-play Final Fantasy XIV and comparisons to WoW and the other parts of the MMO market region to region. So here are some excerpts. There's only a few questions, so let's go through them. The first question was, are there any differences in popular demands between global and Korean Final Fantasy XIV communities? Generally, there are no real difference among them. However, we noticed there was a cultural difference and playstyles that defined the region. For an example, North American region by far has the largest population. Based on statistics on login and server traffic, many adventurers spend their time on new content for about 2 months, whenever major updates come in. Once they're done with that, they simply go back to play other games until the next major update comes in, which is a pretty efficient way to enjoy Final Fantasy XIV. On the other hand, Korean Final Fantasy XIV has a large chunk of population who continues to stay regardless of the major updates. Along with them, there are waves of new leaflets and returners every major update as well. We found that Chinese adventurers do not use Duty Finder, if not rarely. We happen to find a bug in Party Finder that we've never observed from global server, just because once there were more than 5,000 listings on the Party Finder in the Chinese Final Fantasy XIV. Is that kind of difference of preference of gameplay we saw from our Chinese adventurers? We do not know if it's simply based on their cultural background or not, but it's already notable how they do not use Duty Finder as soon as they hit level 15. Which, if you think about it, is really quite unusual from a Western perspective. The next question, Final Fantasy XIV has been often compared to World of Warcraft. Statistically speaking, how close are we to WoW? Until League of Legends broke the world record, WoW had it at 12 million active in-game users. WoW is the role model we look up to rather than a rival. Deep in our hearts, we want to be the game loved by as many as much as WoW even now. I happened to visit Blizzard Entertainment last summer and meet J. Allen Brack, who was the president at the time. I was able to meet the WoW team because we share a common ground as MMORPG, including our battle content designer and localization team member as well. It was more of a fan meeting than a business meeting because I'm a fan of Blizzard as well, which is a very healthy way to run a business in my opinion. Is free to play something you have not considered yet? Absolutely not. It's a business after all, and we look at profits through games. However, we consider the close trust between developers and players than simply trying to maximize the profit in short periods of time. Games like Dragon Quest Builders recently released in Korea, and Final Fantasy XIV are similar in that sense. It's all about that if these guys made this game, it's a safe bet to pay and likely to enjoy it myself. It's much more beneficial for us in the long run. In the developer's perspective, we think the quick profit is not the right way. Even if Final Fantasy XIV is making sizable profit surprisingly well, we do not want to push players to reach further in their wallet. Instead, it would be better to encourage at least 2 to 3 times the population with lowered spending per individual, establishing healthy continuation of 3 to 10 years in sight. Hence, we have no plan for free-to-play at all. In addition, this social game market in Japan is in a rough condition. Many games do not last past 2 months, and the way I see it is the broken trust between the developers and the players by looking at the profit than anything else. Only thing left out after all the games born and dead were the characters and IPs. There are some other notes to mention here that this Reddit user has translated. The Chinese and Korean Final Fantasy XIV are both independent from the global server, and their versions are slightly older than the global server, which is currently at 4.2. Korean net cafe gaming is huge in gaming culture to Final Fantasy XIV in Korea, and they actually offer some perks if you play it in certain net cafes, partnered with K Final Fantasy XIV, for example, plus 10% battle XP, craft and gathering XP, the Echo in dungeons. You can also play it for free as well, regardless of your subscription, whilst playing in partnered net cafes, which is pretty cool. And finally, that the Korean publisher's official name is Identity Entertainment. Korean Final Fantasy XIV has their own letter live broadcast independent from global servers, and GM of light streaming events, which we've looked at in previous live letter breakdowns as well. Either way, this has been quite interesting. It's interesting to see that they see 3 to 10 years in sight, and currently they're trying to grow the player base by catering to certain audiences, especially when it comes to regions, to try and get more people playing the game and spread the income across them, rather than putting more stuff on the cash shop for people to dip into their wallets to get, which is integral to the game. However, if you've seen over the past year, there's been a large influx of new Mog Station items, so whether or not this is entirely true is another thing entirely. However, most of those items are previous event rewards, but there are some unique items that just go straight to the cash shop, and I would imagine it's probably going to increase slightly as well. Either way, let me know what you think about this breakdown below, what you think about the different regions, how it's free in certain net cafes that they're partnered with in Korea, whether that would be something that would work in our culture as well, and I'll see you all next time.